Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here, and this is your 10-second tip. The key to taking away half the court is not to open the gate when your man tries to go to his strong side. So my right hand, watch his foot. He moves up and stops me from going that way. Here's the bad version of it. If you're guarding me here, what most players love to go like this. Yes, open that gate and let me go. And they drop that foot, then he gets the penetration. So make sure you move at that 45-degree angle up toward me to stop me from going and force me to cross back over. Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here, and welcome to B-Ball-Breakdown. I am here for round 2 with head coach of the Golden State Warriors, Steve Kerr. Coach, thanks for coming on the show again. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, we talk a lot about offense with, the Golden State Warriors. That's the headlines. That's the big catchy stuff. But the defense has always been the thing that you guys hang your hat on. So I thought we could talk a little bit about some of the unique things that perhaps you guys do or have influenced the league that really has set the standard for how we're going to defend going into the future.
Yeah, I mean, I think the game has changed so much with the three-point shooting that you've got to have a versatile defensive unit out on the floor, and we're lucky to have Draymond Green who can guard all 5 spots. But we also have all these long, versatile athletes like Kevin Durant and Andre Iguodala and Sean Livingston and Klay Thompson. And so if you have the ability to guard the post or guard the perimeter, now you can just switch. And so I think that's where we really have influenced the league more than anything. Our ability to switch at multiple spots has changed, I think, the way a lot of teams are defending.
So switching certainly does take away a lot of the pressure initially on the pick and roll, but you got to deal with mismatches then, correct? So what is the next iteration of that to have to deal with that as the shot clock is going down, but still enough time for the offense to try and hurt you?
Well, one of the ways you can alleviate that mismatch is by, we call it a bump off. So let's say Steph gets switched off onto a postman, and you're going to look for the other team to dump the ball into the post to his guy, and Draymond Green's on the weak side. Draymond will literally just run across the lane and pull Steph's jersey or point, and now the weak side help defender needs to sag down almost in a zone so that you cover that cross-court pass. But it's just like a switch away from the ball, which would have been illegal, 15, 20 years ago, but in the modern game, you're allowed to do that. And so Draymond's the best I've ever seen at it. And so if we do get caught in a mismatch on the post, you'll frequently see these bump offs. And I know how you work. You're going to put some of these on tape.
Yeah, I think I'll find a couple instances because we're working on a video as we speak. Now, there's another thing we've noticed that is interesting is that I'm calling a pre-switch, which is if you simply don't want a player to be involved in the pick and roll at all as it's going up to the top, you get that guy off of the ball screener early. Now, is that something that you guys are going to play with as well?
We have done some of that. We prefer not to because it can be difficult, and you can run into some problems if you're trying to be too complex and too tricky. And actually, what we tend to do a lot is if we're facing a really dominant point guard, we put Klay Thompson on him because of the size and strength that Klay has. And if you think about the finals the last few years, Klay would be on Kyrie. All of a sudden there's a switch, and now Klay is guarding Kevin Love in the post. To have your guy who can guard a point guard also guard a powerful 4-man down on the block, it's an incredible weapon. So, the defensive versatility that we have allows us to do all this, and it's an incredible weapon.
I'm glad you brought that up because I, get a lot of crap on Twitter and in my videos when I try and defend Steph Curry's defense. And I thought I'd give you a chance here to maybe give us more of the insight, because I'm kind of a broken record with it here, as to why the teams might attack him versus everybody else, and why it might not necessarily matter about his defensive ability, good or bad.
Well, first of all, he's a good defender. He's a high steals guy. He's got quick hands. He anticipates passing lanes. The reason people attack him is because he's the only one who you could possibly take advantage of physically, right? So you look across the board. You got Draymond, you got Andre, you got Klay Thompson, you got Kevin Durant. There's no physical mismatch there with any of them. But with Steph, you get LeBron ISO'd on Steph. That's a huge physical mismatch. And so that's what Cleveland has done a lot the last couple of years, where they put him in pick and roll. But Steph's smart. He's a really smart defender, and he knows exactly where he needs to be, and he knows how to use his body and stay in position. There are certain plays he's just not going to be able to handle because of a size mismatch, but he's smart, and our guys know how to help him. And I think we've been able to kind of put him in spots that help him, and he's such a great help defender and steals guy that frequently means he's off the ball with Klay Thompson on the ball.
Okay. It seems to me that if there's one theme of your practices across the season, it is the defense. Where do you ever take a day off where you don't work on something kind of on defensively, no matter how long or short the practice might be?
We generally do something defensively. We have a kind of a base shell drill that most coaches use, but out of that shell drill, we do a lot of detail stuff that's specific to the NBA. And these days in the NBA, it's really important to go over situational stuff. You've got to know that if you're going to guard the ball and you want to put an arm bar out, that the clever players in this league are going to grab your arm and go up and shoot the ball. And so you have to, we teach what we call chest. So, instead of guarding like this, you literally have to keep your hands out. And if you show your hands, the officials are going to give you the benefit of the doubt. So the NBA is different than college and the high school level in that there are some very unique players who are unbelievably talented, and there's some unique situational things that they take advantage of.
Yeah, and we're joking. I think we know, there are instances where, guys dribble in a certain way that might be pushing the rules a little bit. So I hear you. So yeah,
our guys too. I mean, this is not, I'm not picking on anybody, but no, 20 years ago, the game was much different. I get the question all the time, who would win between the 90s Bulls and the current Warriors? It's an impossible question to ask because the rules, the defensive rules are so different. And even the rules in terms of ball handling and carrying the ball, you're allowed to do that now. You couldn't do that then. So there's some dramatic differences that make that comparison pretty tough.
Well, I'll answer the question. The Bulls would have won.
Okay.
I was in the 20th row of the free throw line extended watching you. So I would say the Bulls. So again, Coach, thank you for being so gracious for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. And I guess as we wrap up, as I always ask, I say, don't forget, sports fans, at BBallBreakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You in? Are you in, Coach?
Apparently I am. I'm looking at myself right there.
Sports fans, to see more of our great NBA content and analysis, make sure to hit the subscribe button, but also click the bell and adjust your settings so you can get an alert the second our videos drop. Because trust me, you're going to want them hot and fresh. You in?